All right, hello everybody. Welcome to After Further Review. I am your host, Steve Tower, and tonight we are joined by the designer of Scorelander Games, Scott Courlander, joins us live here. And welcome, Scott. And
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's been a while.
It has been a while, indeed. Yeah. So I hope all is well, and we've got an exciting project coming up soon, and it's I guess not a sequel, a spiritual successor. Would that
Yeah,
be a
uh, I don't know, a sister game, a companion.
companion?
I
Okay,
don't know, but it's another baseball game.
there we go. All right. So indeed, we are talking about Bat Flip Dynasty, going live on Kickstarter October 1st. And it uses all of the same teams and players, and for me, the fantastic artwork. I'm a sucker for caricature artwork, so this is right up my alley. But a very different twist on the Batflip game, uh, where you get to actually draft your team. You actually get to draft your team, your manager, and your players for it, and trying to win the most trophies and win the game. But why don't you give us your thoughts on how you went this direction with it, and just a that was my quick overview. But if I missed anything you want to fill in, go ahead and
Sure,
let the
sure.
folks know.
So really, when I started working on the original Bat Flip, which for those viewers who aren't familiar with it, it's a dueling card game. Yep, there it is.
Mhm.
And you play a quick 3 inning game of baseball. Some people have called it Baseball the Gathering. It's a lot about hand management and card play. But the crux of it is you're playing one quick game of baseball. Whereas this one, Bat Flip Dynasty, the idea is you are running a franchise over multiple seasons. Um, and so you're basically zooming out. And so, if Bat Flip is like playing MLB The Show, and then this is playing it on franchise mode, or playing fantasy baseball, or doing whatever like franchise simulation someone likes to do, but sort of distilled down. And really, when we made the first one, the early designs did have like a financial element to them, but we found that it's like really hard to build a team while you're playing with that team, and that
Hmm.
it would be nice. It would be nice just to have the players play the game of baseball. But I'm a big fantasy baseball nut, and and I'm really interested in how real professional teams run themselves, and so sort of that big picture, running the franchise over multiple seasons thing was always in the back of my head, something I wanted to try and mess around with.
Yeah. All right. Well, I a big fan of the original, and very much looking forward to this getting out into the world. Why did you decide to go in this direction versus putting out some more expansions for the original Batflip? Or is that something that's down the line? Maybe we'll have some extra teams and players coming
Uh,
in.
and this will be a little bit inside baseball, no pun intended. Um, but it had everything to do with cost, actually.
Oh, okay.
Um, that this probably will cost more to manufacture than an expansion would, but because we made like the crazy choice, which was not a good like business choice, but was a wonderful design choice, I thought, which was having every single card have its own unique artwork.
Ah,
Um, it means that if we were going to keep doing that, it means we're paying for another 80 pieces of individual artwork. So considering that we wanted to do this anyway, we wanted to go ahead and get something out with the artwork that we had. And then you mentioned that it does feature the same players. We did add some new artwork. You'll see that we have the managers, but the sort of the idea is that you're in universe with the other game, but you're just zooming out, and the graphic design is very different. And so this is our second game that we're making, and um, we're hoping that this is the one that's going to sort of fund all our dream projects.
Mm,
Um, Bat Flip, we're really proud of the product itself, but it was our first foray into the industry, and so now we've got a little more momentum, a little more notoriety, and so whether it's games that aren't even baseball themed or aren't
mm.
even sports themed, though we do have another sports game that's probably coming out next year. Um, but or expansions for Bat Flip, because I've got teams designed for it, but hopefully this is the one that'll sort of launch us towards all those things.
Okay, great, great. We'll take a little look at what we have here. I will mention to everybody watching that this is a prototype. Um, although artwork is final, except there was a couple of managers that didn't have their final artwork. The dice will be red with white pips, and then the trophies are going to be cardboard punch outs. Although, stay tuned for the campaign. There may be a way for you to get these cool little 3D printed ones. And also the money tokens. There'll be a $3 denomination, and they'll actually look more like money cards.
Yeah, they'll have the same sort of splatter pattern that you're seeing on the player cards.
Okay. All right. So, with that, we'll jump in. So, first thing that'll happen, each player is going to get dealt 2 cards. There are 12 of these team cards, and they're double-sided. One side has the team, one side has a manager, and you'll decide which one you're going to use for your team, which will also decide your budget, and then which one will be your manager, which your manager will have a dice slot. Some managers have multiple ones. Here, Brian Blass has 3. And then each team and each manager will give you some sort of special ability unique to that team or to that manager. So for our sample game here, we're going to have the Los Angeles Stars and Scrubs, managed by Chip Carlson of the Flips, taking on the Miami Juicers, managed by Mike Scorelander of the New York Moneybags. So for the Stars and Scrubs, they'll get 25 million. Everyone will get their money. The Juicers get 23, but Mike Scorelander adds 3 to their budget, so they're going to actually start with more money than them. And then we'll deal out. Everyone gets 5 cards. So we'll deal out 5 cards to the 2 teams.
And actually, this may not be the best time to spring a rule change on you,
Oh, is
but
there a rule change? No, that's what we love
just
having the designer
a
on for. Go ahead.
very minor one. So we were finding that when we started with 5 cards in season 1, especially if people took prospects, season 1 tended to be like a little bit of a lower scoring season than every other season.
Sure. Yep.
And we knew that from the get-go, that would be the case, but we don't like it, generally speaking, when there's like different rules for one turn than other turns. But it looks like we're going to go that way. So turn 1, you get 6, then every other turn is going to be 4.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's easy enough fix. There we go. That's why you have Kickstarter campaigns, right? So
Yep.
it's not a finished product. All right. And so then everybody gets their cards, and all the GMs will do this simultaneously. They will draft a player, and how you do that is you simply put them down in front of you, and then you pay the cost. It looks like this one did not get a prospect. Oh, there we go. This one did. But if you have a prospect card, you simply put them under your team card, and they will get called up in the next season. So things to keep in mind on the player cards is the cost. And then they'll have 2 sets of dice. There are 2 rounds of dice rolling that you'll get. It's the team phase and then the league phase, if I have that terminology correct. Yep.
Sure do.
And then their position. which Andrew Rosenbach is a good one because he's a utility, so he can play any non-pitcher or non-catcher position. You are limited when you get to the scoring to one score per position, except for pitchers. You can have as many pitchers as you want, although there are some teams that break that rule. And then you're limited to 5 players on your roster at a time. So, with that in mind, our Chip Carlson here. Let's see. What's your strategy? What do you like to? Do you like to go big right on the first turn, or are you a?
Uh, Especially when there's a two-player game like you're setting up here,
Mhm.
I think that's generally actually a good idea, because you could get shut out of getting some of the bigger players.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yep.
but I will say that probably on the card, the most valuable stat I look at, other than max wins, is team dice, and that players that
Sure.
provide the most team dice, generally speaking, uh, tend to produce successful seasons.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. All right. So with that in mind, then let's take that Andrew Rosenberg. And so when you draft a player, you don't put the money back into the bank. It actually goes onto the player card, which will come into play later. And then our other team here. Let's see. So, oh, and he is going to go big because right there they've got their star player from the Juicers, Diesel Durante. And the way you can tell an all-star player is if they have the star next to their name. And he costs 6. So we'll put that on there. And then after everyone's drafted, it's a what is that? You put them down face down, and then everyone reveals at the same time.
No, you build it face up. There's not like hidden information.
Oh, okay. All right, and then pass the cards, and then everyone will keep going until every player passes. Uh, so let's see. We'll hmm. Let's see. I guess we'll go with Kurt. Well, no, actually, let's keep with the building a team dice. So there's Frederico and Dolly. He'll cost 6 million. And you will find that money goes fast, especially after that first turn.
Oh yeah.
And then for our juicers, oh, let's see. Do they want to
Now
keep going?
the juicers, if I recall, they're looking for players. I guess they're looking for dice that have the power icon on it.
Yes. Yep. So
So
unfortunately,
any.
right now
Oh,
they
go
don't
ahead.
have any players in their hand with the power icon on their card. Unfortunately, so they could sign a pitcher that'll make their next player sign cost 2 million less. That seems like a good one. All right, we'll do that. Cost 4. All right.
And for the audience at home, as you're looking at these cards, probably the most pertinent number you're going to look at is that bottom right hand corner. That's the max potential wins that the player can add to your team. Um, and while some of this is sort of unrealistic as far as baseball, and it has been abstracted. So, for example, in real baseball, salaries are up to 30-40 million dollars.
Hmm.
And here we keep it the money just lower just for brain brain effort.
Yes. Thank
Um,
you.
but if you're going to look at the numbers at the bottom, you can sort of think of those as a player's WAR, or wins above replacement, and that does graph onto real baseball pretty neatly.
Yeah. 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 So for instance, here, Josh Capital costs 7 million. But anytime you sign a player that cost over 6 from now on, they cost 1 million less. And he has a 6 max wins and only on one die. So that's a pretty good card. Although he does not give you any team dice and one league die. Um, but yeah, actually, why don't we sign him as an investment for the future? then for our other team down here, let's see. Oh, and they have the next player they signed cost 2 less. So
who do we want to discount on?
well, we got
And from the strategic point of view, because there is a phase at the end that we'll obviously get to where you can cut
yep,
players from your team. When you get something an ability like that one, where you want to be thinking, okay, if I'm getting $2 million less, that means that the next player I sign is probably going to be a good deal and someone I want to keep on my team for a while because
right.
he'll be uncosted.
Yeah, yeah. So we can get the catcher Fernando Del Oro, who gives us let's see. Oh, he has a special ability. Is we have a player with a salary over 8, which we currently don't. Then all of his dice are team dice. Right now he has none and 2 league dice. Or Kurt Workhorse, which will help us in the playoffs. Um, so 3 wins or 4 wins. Let's see. We do already have a pitcher, although he probably is a cut candidate after we
Yeah,
take
for down the
advantage.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, why don't we? We'll get the battery going with Fernando Del Oro. So he will only cost 3. 2 back. All right, and then getting to the end of the free agent phase. Let's see. Our team here is left with 9 million. They do not have a pitcher yet. Let's see. But maybe they want to take a prospect. Hmm. Let's see. I think they're gonna take Kurt, and then our team down
Yeah,
here.
and
Let's
I
see.
think that's a good call because, oh, I wait, so the Stars and Scrubs, they reward you for having non-All-Stars, right?
Oh, that's true. Oh yeah, I was thinking just because uh oh actually no, and he's not even gonna help. Oh yeah, so maybe that's not a great move for him because you're right. They want to add non-stars, so maybe they'll take a. Oh well, I was thinking about it for grabbing this Marcus Flaw next time
Mm.
because you would add it extra. Although that's maybe not gonna. Well, so I guess what we could do is we could take him as a prospect. We'll just bank him for now, and then our other team down here. Let's see. Oh, this is also an interesting one. He has a 1-year contract, so at the end of this turn, he'll automatically be cut. So there's an arbitration phase at the end of the turn where you have to add money onto all your players that you keep, but him, you just automatically have to cut. Um, he has a good 1-year deal. It gives you 2 dice for your team, and right now they are lacking in that. So I think that they will sign that, and then we'll swap. Let's see, and now he's left with Kurt and a prospect.
Yeah, and generally speaking,
Right.
you can support up to, like, maybe 2 prospects at a time,
Yeah.
but you won't have enough major leaguers, if
Eventually, right.
you get too many.
All right. Let's
And
see.
you are obligated to bring the prospect up the next season, so you have to be ready that, oh, they're like, someone's gonna get bumped.
Yes.
So you're committing to that prospect for next year.
Yep.
You don't
Um.
stop being that they're free.
Oh, and actually, that's a good point because maybe we don't want to sign a right fielder.
Mm, if
All
we're gonna
right.
be
So
bringing someone up.
instead, we'll yeah, because Marquise Flaw is the right fielder. So we'll sign and then they'll swap one more time. And I think they're down to just 6 million left. So the other option that you can do instead of signing a player or a prospect is you can just simply discard the card. So they'll discard Kurt, and then I think
Well, let me ask you, do they have enough money for Kurt?
they do, and then they'd be left with 1 million.
Yeah, well, you can't
Uh,
take it with you.
well, that's true, but then they're gonna have to cut somebody when
Yeah,
they.
they'll cut Kurt next year if you need to.
All right. Okay.
It's a merciless
I
business.
all right. I did want to show that though that you can.
Oh, I know, I appreciate
Okay, yeah.
that.
All right, and then so now they're gonna sign Cliff Ice Thompson, who has a wonderful ability that it's a long-term contract, so he does not have to go through arbitration at the end of the turn, so you don't have to pay him anymore. All right, so we've gone through all of our cards. Now we will go through the team dice phase. So we'll look at all of our players, and we are adding up all the blue dice. So 2 from Rosenbag, 2 from Endeli, none from Josh Capital, 1 from Ricky Zips, and then none from Kurt. So that is 5
Uh, Now
team
it
dice.
I sent you the rules update about the managers providing wild card dice. Did I
Oh,
did?
let's see. It was the version 4. Is that?
Um,
Oh yeah, yes.
yeah.
Here we go. Assign the dice. Um, yeah, you place them on your manager as a wild card, or as
Yep,
a
yep, yep.
wild card. Yeah, yeah. All right, all right. So we'll roll for our team up there, and see what we got. And what you're trying to do is you're trying, ideally, to match these icons exactly. If you can fill in a player card and match them exactly, they will reach their max wins. If you just fill in these without matching the dice, and how you denote that is if it matches, you put it facing straight up, and if it doesn't match, you cock it off to the side. So if you fill them all in, but they're not matching, you'll get their base wins. Fill them all, and you get their max wins. So let's see. So we got a glove, 2 power icons. Oh, which we don't need.
This
An
is a great
arm.
opportunity. Pop one of those power icons on your manager, and then power becomes wild.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, I see. Oh, that's the change
Yep,
in
yep,
the.
yep.
Yeah. Okay. Ah, all right. So in that case, we can try to fill up. Oh, unfortunately, we didn't get any shoes.
You can turn that
So
power into a shoe if you want to. Now that it's wild.
that's true. Oh yeah. So actually, we could. Yes. Oh, all right. Yeah. So we'll put that there, and then Andeli has given us 6 wins already. And then Kurt Workhorse is an interesting one. We'll probably save that because his base and max wins are the same, so it doesn't matter if you match his icon or not. Um,
Well, his ability probably adds something to his max wins.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh, let's see. In the playoffs, dice on the pitcher
oh, that's
on
right.
your active roster produce 2 playoff wins when matched.
Right. So
Oh,
that
when
doesn't matter.
matched, yeah. Oh, so actually, I guess maybe we do want to do that because actually nobody else has the plate icon. All right, so that's our bottom team. For the juicers, they're gonna get 1, 2. Uh, they do not get the bonus from Fernando. 3, 4, 5. So there is. Oh boy, and they they did not roll well. They rolled 3 gloves and 2 bats. Let's see. Although we can. Oh, so for a manager, then for this wild card, say of Brian Blast, does that mean they would get 3 wild cards?
Uh, well, as that card is printed, yes. But I should mention that most managers with that rule change now only have one
The
die
one oh
slot.
okay. Gotcha. All
I
right.
think there's 2 managers that have the potential to have 2 wild cards on them.
Okay. All right. Good to know. All right. So that'll make the gloves wild. Um, and I think that we're gonna use those 2 gloves on Durante.
Yeah,
We'll get
and
him
so
to.
because they're wild, you can like literally just change them to the other face, so they will count
Oh,
as
I
the
see. Yeah,
power
gotcha. Yep.
icons that you want.
Yep. Oh, all right. that's a good thing. So you don't forget later.
Yeah.
All right. So they'll do that, and then we can put a bat here that'll match up, and then let's see, who do we want to? Well, I guess for David here, it's not going to really matter if we get the minimum or maximum. It's just a difference of one. So we'll put that there, and we'll have a skew. So that finishes our team dice phase. Then we go to the league phase, and this is I really do like this one. So what's going to happen is everybody is going to add up their red dice. So for the top here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The bottom down here, it is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 9 dice are going to go into the pool, and they'll get rolled all together. But the player that contributed the most gets to draft first, and then you keep going back and forth, either drafting and using a die or drafting and discarding a die.
Correct, and you only discard if all your slots are filled.
Oh, you can't strategically.
Correct.
Gotcha.
You're obligated to place it if you can.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So there is our roll. All right. And so unfortunately for our stars and scrubs, no power icons were rolled for them. Let's see. I think they're gonna take the shoe and put it on Josh Capital to get his 6 wins. Yeah. Now for the juicers, same thing. They're gonna take an arm so they can get the max wins on Pippo Gonzalez. Back up to the stars and scrubs. Let's see. I guess they'll start working on. Oh yeah, they'll take the glove. Well, let's see. What are they gonna? Yeah, just because they'll only need 2.
Yeah, and depriving the other team of a wild card is nice too.
Yes, that also is a bonus. All right. Let's see. So yes. So speaking of which, because there are no plates, they are going to take that last glove, turn it into a plate for David. Oh, actually, it's not even going to matter, is it? I forgot that he had the other one. So let's see. Oh, I guess they could turn it into an arm.
Yeah.
And then put it on. There we go. All right. Back up to the stars and scrubs. They'll take that last shoe to get Zips his max wins. Back down here, they're not going to be able to max out their wins. So let's see, can they do anything to... Actually, no, I guess at this point it's not going to matter because nobody has wilds left and nobody's going to be able to max out a player. All right. So that ends the team or the league dice draft, and now we go to the regular season scoring, which will get a little scrunch for space here. Normally, you wouldn't have your cards laid out. The players would be playing around a table, and the players would have their own cards in front of them. But what's going to happen is everybody that scored their max wins will get turned to the right. Everyone that scored their minimum wins will get turned to the left. And then if they didn't fill their dice and they don't score anything, they just remain upright. So I'll just, to borrow a magic term, I'll just tap my cards that have scored.
And I'll tell you too, just like as a game designer, the fact that Wizards of the Coast has trademarked the term and the symbol tap means that there's like so many games that have to use like exhaust or
right, yes.
or it's like, can we just say tap, please?
Right. They did. Some lawyer jumped on that quick.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So for our stars and scrubs, they actually did pretty good. They're gonna get 12 18 wins. And then for let's see. Oh, and that 12 13, 4, or sorry, yeah, 12. My gosh, what did I say? 18, 19, 20, 21 wins because they get the three for the all their non all stars.
Now, does that just uh give you? I think it adds on to the just the max wins. I'm trying to remember that card.
It says add one win for each non all star on
Oh,
your active
yeah,
roster.
yeah, 3 wins. That's it.
So yeah, so 21 for the stars and scrubs. Uh, for the juicers, they're gonna get 5, 10, uh, 12, 16, and then one win for each power icon. So 17, 18. 18 for them. All right, so for the scoring, let's see. It is going to be so it's whoever wins the most, right? Will get a, a trophy.
Correct.
And then now the new twist is that everybody makes the playoffs. So there's
Correct. So,
um,
but that so what he's referring to is in an older version of the game, you had to reach the 16 win
16.
plateau in
Yep.
order to or threshold in order to make the playoffs. So what we're saying now is that because you're just looking at 5 guys on a 25-man roster, 26-man roster, and so we're saying all these teams are playoff caliber teams. These are just the guys that are finishing it off. So we do still care about that 16 win threshold though, and we say if you do that, you won your division. And so both of these guys got to 16 wins and they get a trophy just for that.
So we'll get a trophy. Oh, okay. And then the stars
So
and
they'll
scrubs
get
will get
2
second
total. Yeah, yeah,
one
yeah.
okay. There we go. All right. And welcome into, let's see, Philip Reynolds has joined us and D. Scott Howard. Welcome, guys. We are playing out Bat Flip Dynasty here. This is coming out to Kickstarter on October 1st, and we're joined by the game designer himself, walking us through a sample game, sample round we're playing here right now. If you guys do have any questions, please put them in the chat, and we will get to those at the end of our round here. All right, so now we get to go to the playoffs, and playoffs. This is a completely revamped from the original version.
Yep.
And so it's everyone takes their team or all their dice. Is that including their manager die?
It does not include their manager
It
die.
does not include their manager. Okay. So, oh, right. They take, yes, because now we're just looking for pairs. Um,
Yeah, we're looking. So this is sort of what we call the Yahtzee phase now.
yes.
Um, we're looking to either put together, pairs, 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, 5 of a kind, with escalating playoff win values for each of those. And
Gotcha.
there's 3 rounds of this.
All right. So has Kurt's card changed in the last, or will he change in the final
It
edition?
has. It has.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
do I remember what it says now?
No. Oh.
No. Something playoffy, but I can't remember.
Okay. All right. No worries. No worries. All right. So here is the roll for the Stars and Scrubs. And this first round of the playoffs, you just roll. There, no decisions.
Correct.
And it looks like and it's each pair is a playoff win.
Mm-hmm.
So we are looking for pairs, and it looks like we have 2 pairs. So that's 2 wins for the Stars and Scrubs. The Juicers, their first round. Let's see what they do. Nobody gets eliminated in the playoffs. You're just going through what is it? 3 rounds.
It's 3 rounds, and in
Yeah.
each round you can bank whatever you want from the last anything you rolled the last round. Yeah, it is important that you declare how many wins you have, so people know how much pressure they're under, whether they should gamble more
Right.
or maybe break up a pair so you can have a chance of getting a 4 of a kind elsewhere or something.
Right. Right. All right. So we actually both teams finished with. Oh well, actually, let's see. So the first round you're only looking for pairs, right?
No, you can look
Oh, you
for
can
as
look
many.
for 3 and 4. Oh, and 5 of a kind. Okay. So they have a 3 of a kind and a 2 of a kind. So that's 4 playoff wins. 3 of a kind is worth 3 playoff wins. And the pair. All right. So after the first round, the Juicers are on top. And so now we'll go to the second round. The Stars and Scrubs, they'll roll all their, they can roll any of their dice.
Correct. So if you wanted to break up the pairs, you could. At this point, it probably doesn't make sense to.
Right.
But you could if they wanted to.
Yeah. All right. So they'll roll all their non-paired dice. Let's see. And they do add a shoe. Let's see. So that gives them... Oh, and then they actually do have another pair. So that's going to give them, let's see, 3, 4, 5 playoff wins. And now decision for the Juicers. I think, yeah, they won't break up a pair just yet. They'll roll these 3 and see. Because what you're trying to get 5 of a kind is the best.
Yeah, is the pair, pinnacle. The
biggest. Yeah. Oh, and they unfortunately did not roll anything to help. So they'll stay at the 4 playoff wins. So our last round of the playoffs, they're gonna just roll their 2 unmatched dice. Oh, and they got very lucky. They made a 4 of a kind and then a 3 of a kind.
Wow,
so,
yeah.
Stars and Scrubs, they're gonna end with 6, 9, 10 wins. So they
and so just for reference, a pair is worth 1, 3 of a kind is worth 3, 4 of a kind is worth 6 wins, and if you were able to get 5 of a kind, that would be worth 10 playoff wins.
All right. So and now, so the Juicers need a fantastic roll here.
Yeah, they need
to catch up.
5 of a kind would be nice.
Let's see, and they do not. They are gonna end up with 2 pairs of 3s, so they're gonna end up with 6 playoff wins. So 10 to 6 playoff wins at the end of the round. The Stars and Scrubs will win that round of the playoffs, and that will that'll end the playoffs. And then the turn is not quite over. Then we have to go to arbitration. So this is the hot stove part of the season, where everybody needs to get paid. So if you had anybody on your active roster who had any special ability, such as like David Scammer down here, who has to be cut, and then Cliff Ice Thompson, who skips the arbitration step. So when a player is cut, the card is discarded, but their money goes back into your pool. And then everyone just slides down first before you sign new players. Yep. All right. So for up here, everybody that does get signed, they have to. They cost $1 million. So, so the Stars and Scrubs, while they had a fantastic first turn of the game, it is now going to cost them. And who are they going to keep? They have $1 million that they can spend to keep somebody, and then they're gonna have to.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh yeah, and then they're gonna have to cut somebody else. So I'm thinking that that maybe they cut their pitcher Kurt.
Well, you didn't want him on the team to begin with.
Yeah, he was kind of a last. Well, just because I knew it was an easy way to get 3 wins with just 1 die. All right, so Kurt will be cut. We'll get his 5 back, and then that will give us $5 million that we can easily keep the rest of our team. There we go. And then so down here, Cliff Ice Thompson does not need to get paid because he signed that long-term contract, and so they will easily be able to re-sign the other players. Although I think they are gonna let Pippo go just to get his 4 back, and then they can sign, because they're trying this next turn. They would be trying to sign somebody with a salary over $8 million to get the benefit for their catch.
Oh yeah.
So then the final step of the round is prospects get promoted. So it's no money. You just pull them up, and they get put at the far right of your active roster. Again, you can right. They will bump. Oh no, they wouldn't bump somebody if they were the same position. It's just then the next turn you'd have to decide which one
Which one you want to
scores.
score?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
all right. So Marquise Flaw, which is probably still my favorite artwork of the set. I love that card. Uh, we'll get
Well, what's
called
funny
up.
about that one is that identical artwork is on the other guy who he's bumping into's card as well.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay. Oh, and actually, I
And they
just
share the artwork because they're just bumping into each other.
yeah, yeah. So I just realized I got cut off on the side of my screen. So, but yeah, there is Marquise Flaw. Um, so there we go. And then Boo Boo Phillips gets called up for the juicers, and then the game would continue until one player at the end of a round reaches the scoring threshold. For a two-player game, it's 8 players or 8 trophies. And then does it go down by one each
By
player
one,
count?
well, not for 2 players it's 8, for
Oh,
3 or 4 it's 7, and then for 5 or 6 it's 6.
it's 6. Yeah, there we go. Um, Yeah, and then that is in a shell how to play a round of the game. So let's see. We've got one question. Roger Ward said, "Are they the same players as the original game?" So uh, yes, right. There are no new players, or has
Uh,
anyone?
so it, so it includes all the same players from both the base game and the bases loaded expansion.
Okay,
So the original Bat Flip came with 96 players, and this one has 144.
okay, and nobody like changed teams
Nope.
or okay.
I mean,
All
they're
right.
changing teams now as you sign them,
Oh,
but
yes, right. By their base artwork. So yeah, okay. All right. Awesome. So as we wind down, we're a month away from the campaign launching.
yeah, October
Um,
1st.
uh, any uh, any thoughts on how things have changed since the last campaign? Anything you're
Um,
looking forward to? Not looking forward to? Well, you don't have to share that.
No, well, we're really excited about this one because we're a young company, and the first one we went into blind, and we had a product that we were really excited about and really had a lot of faith in, but it was a learning experience for every part of the business side of it. From manufacturing to distribution and all that stuff. And this time, it's nice to kind of go in and say, okay, now we know what to do, let's do it well, as opposed to just like, what do we do? Um, but from that standpoint, we're very excited. We've got a lot more going on as far as followers on our Kickstarter page than we had last year. I mean, I think the first campaign there were like 17 people following it, and we're a month out where we've got 500 followers on it right now.
Oh
Um,
wow, wow. Okay.
yeah, which is a great jumping off point. And I think that with Kickstarter, it's sort of a crapshoot. I mean, the videos always look nice, and the pages always look nice, and this one is with nice minis, and you never really know what you're going to get or if you're going to actually get it. Um,
Yes.
and so it's I guess a feather in our cap that we feel good, like, okay, we made a product we're proud of, and we actually delivered it to people,
Yeah.
and so I think we've got a little more credibility in the industry now. um, and for me, like, uh, in some ways, this was always the game I wanted to make, because I play in these really deep fantasy baseball leagues where we draft prospects and there's contracts.
Hmm.
And truth be told, with this game, what I did is I basically took the constitution of my favorite fantasy baseball league and just kept sort of simplifying it and abstracting it, because it sort of mirrors real baseball, just like this game does. Um, and this was the result. So this is when you're playing fantasy sports, like the drafting is the best part in the team building
Sure. Yeah.
because then, yeah, you love the games, but you can't really do that much. You change your roster a little bit, pick up a free agent here and there. But draft day is the big day, and so I wanted to create a game where each round, you can have 4 or 5 draft days over the course of an hour and a half or whatever. Um, and so my general design philosophy, for better or for worse, is I want to make games that I want to play.
That's a
Um,
good philosophy. That yeah.
and then I just hope that there are people who like to play the same way that I do.
All right. Awesome. Yes. Roger, I agree. Roger says the artwork is amazing. I'm going through the stack of cards. As Scott mentioned, there's 144 players. So which is great because rarely will the same players come out 2 games in a row. So um, really really fantastic. I love how you were able to capture kind of the theme of each of the teams from Bat Flip and kind of parse that out over the player cards, so you get a feel of
Oh,
what that team was in Bat Flip, and they get a
yeah.
little bit of it on each of the player
Yeah,
cards. So,
and sometimes it took sort of reimagining the theme because we did try and have the mechanics and the theme sort of go together. Um, and so, for example, like the small ballers in the original Bat Flip have a bunch of speedy players, and so now their team in this game, there's Mickey Starfish.
yeah.
That's the best
Oh,
card in the game.
that's there you go. Yeah.
Full 15 mil.
Yeah.
Um,
But a long-term contract, so you only
oh
pay him
yeah.
once. So yeah, but
Um, whereas like so that was pretty straightforward. Like, okay, we like in this game they reward you for amassing foot icons, speed icons in this one as well. But then there was something like the dirt bags, where like in the original game, sort of the premise was that they're injuring the other team because they played dirty. And then for this one, we thought, okay, well, like we can't really get that granular, but their front office plays dirty, and so
yes.
they meddle in other teams' negotiations, and so
Yeah.
they might pump up the cost for someone that somebody else is hiring or signing, um, and so some of it is, or like the money bags. So in the original game, we had to find a way to sort of abstract the idea that these were costly players, but in the original Bat Flip, there's no money, so there's no
Hmm.
financial aspect to it. So the cards themselves would come with a cost or a drawback of some sort. They'd be a great player, but they would cause you to discard a card,
Hmm.
or they would have a weakness like being strikeout prone. But in this one, we could like meet their theme head on and just be like, oh, this is a team of expensive players that are going to reward you for having more expensive players, and just spend that money.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, especially so anybody coming to this, who played the original is gonna catch on to that immediately. It's pretty cool how it works together, and then of course it's just fun having money ballers on the Stars and Scrubs team, and all the
Yeah, well,
various
and this
mix
and
ups you can have.
the sort of in-world explanation there too, because it is weird. Like, okay, well, if you're like a star and scrub, what are you doing on the money ballers or the money bags? And so the sort of the in-world premise is that this is the team that they are coming from. So they're a free agent. They just came off of that team. That's their previous team, and now they're signing with you
Okay, yeah,
or re-signing
oh,
if it matches.
that works. That works. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, awesome. Well, thank you again for joining me here. And we'll look forward to the campaign launching. Hopefully I can have you back on.
Yeah,
Maybe
hopefully we can get
um
like a real game going.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it is up on the tabletop simulator
Hmm.
with okay. And for anybody that has that, you can check this out right now. It's out on the
Yep.
yeah, okay. Um, And actually, after the show, I'll put a. Is that on the Kickstarter page?
Um,
The link to
it's
the.
not. I think it's not on the preview page. I know we shared it in our Facebook group, and I think it's posted on our website, which is
Okay.
scorelandergames.com. But if it's not, then it definitely should be, and I will make sure that
Oh,
it gets
okay.
up.
All right. All right. Well, there we go. So you guys can. I do have the link to the Kickstarter preview down the show notes, and that will have a link to their page from there. So, all right. Well, let's see. I don't see any other questions in the chat. So with that, we'll sign off. Thanks again, Scott. Any final words before we sign off?
Uh, Go O's.
Go O's. Oh boy. All right. Oh, see, I shouldn't have asked. I would. Oh, all right. I know. Well, everybody's in it, right? Except the White
Yeah,
Sox with these two new
except the
wild
White
cards.
Sox. Yeah.
So,
Oh God,
oh boy. All right.
really went wrong.
All right. Well, thanks again, and we'll have you back on again soon.
All right, take
All
care,
right.
Steven.
Yep. Until next time, guys. My name's Steve. Get out there, have fun, play games, and I will see you after further review. Have a good night, everybody.